Assalamu alaikum. Been asked like last year's Eid ul Fitr video to discuss when it's possible for Ramadan to start in the UK this year. So may Allah Ta'ala give us the ability to do that. So firstly, we'll have a look at what Saudi Arabia will be doing because a lot of people follow them and take some guidance from them. Then we look at what it's possible in the UK based on the sunnah of moon sighting. So when will the moon be sightable in the UK? And then we'll have a look at Morocco, and then we'll also have a look at Saudi Arabia if they did moon sighting. So we'll explain the difference of when Saudi Arabia are likely to start their Ramadan and when they should start it if they did base it on moon sighting. So just in summary, because I know a lot of people don't like listening to long videos, and we'll get into the detail later on, but UK Ramadan will start if based on moon sighting on Sunday the 2nd of March. It's most likely to start on Sunday the 2nd of March. There's a very low chance of it being the 1st of March. We will look for it on the evening of Friday, the 28th of February, but it's highly unlikely to be seen. I will come on to why. So it's highly likely that we will start on Sunday, the 2nd of March, based on UK moon sighting. Saudi are expected to announce Ramadan for the Saturday, the 1st of March, based on their predetermined calendar. And we knew this 10 years ago that they plan to start on the 1st of March. Just to note, because some people will try and fool us by saying that actually the moon is visible in the US. The moon is expected to be visible in the US on Friday evening. That's because the sun will set much later. But that news will be far too late for us in the UK, and especially in the eastern parts of the globe. So we can't really take heed from that because we won't know about the moon sighting until about 4 o'clock in the morning here, which is far too late for us to start planning anything and to take heed from that. And so in Saudi, most of the Gulf and their followers in Europe will follow the Saudis' announcement based on their predetermined calculators, as I said, 1st of March. And for your information, Eid ul Fitr, that should say it's a typo there, will be on Sunday, the 30th of March. Eid ul Adha later on in the year will be on Friday, the 6th of June, based on the calendar. So those can keep those as reference points, although they're not likely to matter to those people who follow moon sighting. Their calendar is based on the birth of the moon, not when the moon is sightable. And that's the crux of the issue. That's the questionable issue that most people who want to follow the sunnah of moon sighting, because that's what the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ say, start Ramadan when you sight the moon and end it when you sight the moon, not on the birth of the moon. That's a critical issue for us, is the visibility and the sighting of the moon, not the birth of the moon. The Saudi predetermined calendar is based on birth of the moon, and that's why you will always find them normally one day ahead of moon sighting. This is an extra taken from the Saudi calendar, and this was here last year as well, so I've just reiterated here, and you can see last year's dates did come out as expected there, and that just tells us when Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha will be based on the Saudi calendar. Those people who are saying the Saudis will be looking for the moon, well, it's really odd that it always falls on these days, especially when the moon can't be sighted. So moon sighting in the UK, we will search for it on the evening of Friday, the 20th of February. A lot of Muslims in the UK will be going out, especially local moon sighters will be. Two things to bear in mind when we're looking for the moon and looking at the data to tell us how likely it is the moon will be sighted. Firstly, we need to know how old is the moon. So the new moon is born, is the term used for a new moon. And we want to know how old is that since its birth, since the conjunction. And that will determine its size of the crescent. The bigger, the better. So I've been looking around and doing some research, and if anybody else can find some research, maybe Google it or whatever, and do let me know if you find anything more. What I found is that the minimum that anybody has said that the age of a moon is required for it to be sighted is 15 to 16 hours. That's the US Naval website said that it's possible, and possible at 15 and a half to 16 hours. And that's a very extreme length. So you don't expect that to happen all the time. And that's with the naked eye. However, most commentators will say up to 24 hours. So some have said 18, some will say 20, some 24. But the general consensus is that you need the moon to be around 20 to 24 hours old for it to have a chance of being visible with the naked eye. And then the second part is how long it stays above the horizon, because there's a gap of us being able to see it. So we want to see the difference between the moon setting and the sunset. we'll normally see after the sun has set, and we just want to check how long it'll be around after the sun has set. The longer that period, the better. Again, as a very, very, very minimum, you need 45 minutes. You generally need more than that. This is the very minimum. Anybody claiming to have seen it less than 40, when it was less than 45 minutes, is actually really pushing the envelope on that one, and really dubious. And even 45 minutes would be dubious, but I've just set that as a absolute extreme length. Of anything beyond that would be kind of silly. And similarly on the above one, where I talk about 15 to 16 hours, I can't find any decent person saying that it should be more than 15, less than 15 and a half, 16 hours. So let's have a look at the data for the UK. So in Birmingham, on the 28th of February in the evening, the moon will be 17 hours. So that just about hits the very, very minimum. So, we're borderline there at best. And then the visibility window will have 50 minutes. So again, borderline. So on both counts of the age of the moon and the visibility window, we're really at the extreme bottom end. Therefore, there's a low chance of us being able to see it. On the evening of Saturday, the 1st of March, you can see the moon will be 41 hours. So it's well above that 24 hours at most that people are saying. And it's 2 hours and 18 minutes on the horizon. So you've got a really excellent chance of seeing the moon on Saturday, the 1st of Feb. So given that there's very, very low chance, we will look for the moon. If we do sight the moon on Friday evening, then we will start on Saturday. But as I say, there's a very, very low chance of it being sighted. We've got an excellent chance of seeing it. And there's a misnomer that people say when they see the moon on Saturday, the 1st of Feb, they say, look at that, that's a 2-day moon. But they don't understand. It's not about the age of the moon, it's about the visibility of the moon. You couldn't have seen a first-day moon. It's very unlikely that you see a first-day moon. The first time you'll see that moon is when it's past its 24 hours. So it will be a second-day moon. That's when you'll be able to see it. We don't care if it's a first-day moon or a second-day moon. That's not the point. The point is visibility. And it only becomes visible after it reaches a certain point. And given the time of birth and the time of sunset, you could easily get up to 48 hours when you first see that moon. The next slide is in Morocco. Look at the data for Morocco. It's very, very similar to the UK. And that's why often a lot of people in the UK do refer to Morocco. They're not doing that just because they have an affinity to Morocco or just because it's close to us. It's because it shares many characteristics. You could have a country that's closer to us than Morocco, but actually it would not share the characteristics depending on whether it's to the east or the west of us. But that's why we refer to Morocco quite often, because it shares many of the characteristics and for most of the year. Again, we'll need an announcement from Morocco on the evening. Again, it's borderline of whether they'll be able to see it or not. High chance that they won't see it. And they've got an excellent chance of seeing it on Saturday, the 1st of March. So I would take a guess that they would also start on the Sunday based on their local moon sighting. Finally, let's have a look at Saudi Arabia. Let's have a look at the blessed city of Makkah al-Mukarramah. On Friday the 28th, the age of the moon and local sunset will be 14 hours and 40 minutes. So that's less than, I said, the very minimum that I was able to find, which is 15, 16 hours. So based on naked eye sighting, based on all scientists out there, you should not be able to see a moon that's 14 hours and 40 minutes old. And the visibility window is 34 minutes. As I said earlier, that's not enough to be able to see it. So they've got a very low chance. Their chance of sighting the moon is less than us in the UK, and we've got a very low chance as well. So, Makkah should not see the moon at all. I mean, very low chances. I'm probably being generous there by saying very low chance. They should not be seeing the moon. And as you can see, the data there is different to the UK, unlike Morocco. That's why we can't really use that as a reference point for moon sighting or as a proxy for our local moon sighting, because their data and their stats are so different to ours. And so, in summary, we're expecting UK moon sighting to take place on Saturday the 1st of March. So Ramadan will be on the 2nd of March. We will look for it on the 28th, and there is a very, very, very slim chance of it being on the 1st of March. So whichever day it is, may Allah, let us reach the month of Ramadan and let us take benefit from the month. Inshallah, if Allah wills, we'll try and do something similar towards the end of Ramadan on when the likely date of Eid will be. It's likely the Saudis will do 29 days, which means that because we'll start one day after them, we're probably going to be different to them because we'll only be on our 28 days when they do their Eid. So we'll probably be one day after them. Will we be 2 days after them will be the question. So until then, may Allah bless you with the month of Ramadan and accept your worship and endeavors in that month. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.